The creative city, that is a concept that is coming up again and again and again. And just checking with Global Scholar, you see that there is, up till now, a kind of exponential growth in the use of the concept. We learned earlier today that there is nothing in the long run that is exponential. But you can see for the period 2008 to 2011, we have almost 2/3 of the hits, according to Global Scholar. Just as a motivation for using the concept. What is then a creative city? When checking the literature, there is no conclusive definition. There is a city that contains several clusters of creative activities, a city characterized by creative industries, a city characterized by creative occupations, a city that has a production and consumption milieu that is attractive to creative industries. Often this is limited to what we call cultural sector industries, many of the publications. Our friend Andersson has suggested another somewhat different definition, said a city with cognitive and creative capacities, communication and context, and an open and tolerant culture. And for those who don't know Andersson, I can tell you that his definitions came up some 15 years, 20 years before Mr. Flor. Can be important in this connection. Which are then the creative cities? Well, we can measure this in various ways. This is based upon scientific publications, scientific output. And you see that big cities, of course. You can see that we have Asia, South and North America and Europe represented. You can see that there's some interesting newcomers in a 10-year period. Suddenly, Beijing, Seoul, Moscow, Shanghai, Milan, Barcelona, and Sao Paulo has entered to be listed as 30 most with the highest output. But if we use patterns or any other measure, we'll get another ranking, but it will have the same actors to high extent there. So, what are the factors then behind the emergence and growth of creative cities? Well, we've discussed already all day about the increasing urbanization. We have also this with the growth of new communication and contact networks, increasing cognitive capacities, increased investments, higher education, R&D. I don't know, it's more than 90% of all scientists that have ever lived in the world is still living, something like that. Dramatic increasing role of creativity in scientific research, but also in design, media, culture, finance, and arts. As you know, in finance, that's sometimes too much creativity, but it's there. International deregulation that has stimulated in the last 3, 4, 5 decades international trade, foreign direct investments, and of course financial and knowledge flows. And this I think is very important, the development of international networks of interacting creative cities. And I'll show you just one thing. These are co-authorships in 40 cities with the other 39 cities. And Manchester, Liverpool is leading with almost 80% of all publications coming up there. Are co-authored with one or seven persons in another big city.
Because of Peter Buckley.
Yes. And this tells us something about how closely connected these cities are. And we can use other measures and find a similar figure, similar picture. We also see, and you know, that has been proved by Martin Beckman and others, that co-authorships increase productivity, scientific productivity. And we can see at the right-hand side that we have some of the more newcomers. They are not yet up here in terms of co-authorships. Driving entrepreneurship is almost what Hans was talking about here. Changing competitive advantages, faster growth in creative cities, increased real incomes, increased immigration of cognitive and creative labor, and increased vocational knowledge in terms of creative firms like this. And then we can have circle after circle of this. Why are these cities unattractive to cognitive creative labor? Well, it has been mentioned, the higher salaries, a larger labour market with interesting jobs, meaning that it's easier to make a career. It's also easier for households with two grown-ups that are working with a high income to make a career, to find interesting jobs. Housing infrastructure, amenities, also, not least important, much richer opportunities for learning and development of competence, knowledge and skills. You must understand that those that in particular consume extra training, education are people with already high education. High international accessibility, building experience. We can see in Sweden that people in the largest cities and people with high education change job much more often than people with low education living in smaller regions, meaning that they build much richer experiences and build experiences much more rapidly. And of course, the activities, cognitive creative activities, are also attracted to these creative cities. Sorry. A rich supply of cognitive creative labor, large supply of research universities, our research institute, supply of cognitive creative activities, high international accessibility to keep these knowledge networks, for example, running, a rich supply of advanced business and financial services, and a concentration of advanced and demanding customers with strong purchasing power. And let's go. There's also, of course, a need sometimes to think and discuss what are really the conditions, the fundamental conditions for creativity, for creative activities. And certainly the literature is not united on what is important, but there's, at least going through a literature, there are certain things that are stressed, and that is that there's a tolerant attitude to experiments, that there's a versatile composition of knowledge and competences. As you know, new knowledge is created when different knowledge bits comes together, and you make bigger progress if these knowledge bits are a bit apart than if they are very close. Versatile and unregulated financial base for science, entrepreneurship, cultural life. Good possibilities for spontaneous informal context, local and globally, face-to-face contacts. Heterogeneity rather than functional division of the social and physical environment. A feeling that the needs are greater than existing resource opportunities, and a flexible social economic organization that sometimes endangers structural stability. That is, of course, a problem, not least for our policymakers. Why then are the creative processes to so high extent localized in the larger cities? Well, the answer is simple. They provide the facilities, institutions, exposure to ideas and knowledge imported from other regions, and embedded knowledge and practices, which are crucial for sustainable creative milieux and creative processes. Of course, have a collective character. More and more of, say, scientific research is done in teams. They are dependent on the development makers of formal and informal creative teams with diverse skills, and need to be coordinated with relatively short and often finite time frames. You don't have as much time as you like sometimes to solve different kinds of problems. You must be able to do it rather quickly. Project runs. Then, one thing that is important to take up, I think, is that why is the important ideas and knowledge critical for creative cities? Well, you saw all these 30 big cities that with a high scientific output. But if we think of all the new knowledge created in the world, each of these big cities only produces a tiny share of all new knowledge. So to be at the frontier, you need to be very well updated with what is going on in other regions, other big creative regions. So you must be connected with other creative cities by a rich flora of information knowledge workers. And this implies, of course, that the gateway functions is critical for creative success. And what then regional and resources and capacities we think are critical for creative cities? Well, a critical mass of wealth and economic growth, all the cities mentioned are totally seen rich cities with a high income generation, an above level interpersonal trust, above level of openness, social tolerance, entrepreneur-friendly laws and regulations, a large population, so there's an inflow of migrants, a labour force with a wide variety of cognitive skills, at least one large research university, I would say in most cases several large research universities, good accessibility in transport and ICT networks, transport both within the region, within the city, but also with other cities. Imbalances between perceived public and private needs and their actual provision. The structured instability and uncertainty in institutional, philosophical, scientific, artistic parameters. There must be some demands waiting there. Why then can only large urban regions become creative cities? Well, one possible answer is that creative processes are dynamic, synergistic processes. And it's only these big cities that can offer the necessary synergies between, let's say, a rich and diverse supply of cognitive creative labor, high education, cultural institutions, and various amenities, basic applied research, design activities, and efficient modes of transport and communication. There's only these cities where you have the resources to this. I'm just not. No, sorry. No more. So, to sum up, only a few large urban regions in each of the interested countries can be a real creative city. That means centers of creativity and innovation. Their long-term development will, of course, be dependent upon their cognitive, communicative, creative, and cultural capacity. And one can claim, or one can believe, that scientific creativity is a central dynamic factor that determines the long-term development of creative cities. And this is important for us, that simple recipes, like attracting more creative class workers or more creative industries, that doesn't create a creative city. And also to, no one, wrong place. And also to support what Hans was saying, that the problem here is that other regions, they face the risk of creative destruction, loss of employment, loss of incomes, and this is, as Hans expressed, an important policy area. And of course we have the same within cities, that even if these cities are successful, there might be created big imbalances in terms of incomes and other things within the cities. But that is all I'm saying. Thank you.